Cucumber, tomato, and feta salad is a really easy summer side dish. I like to make this in a great big bowl and eat it for lunches or send it to work with my husband. It's perfect for your next potluck. Join me in the kitchen, let's make it. I've got part of my cucumbers already chopped over here in this bowl, and you need at least one large, this is an English cucumber, and this is half of it here. At least one of these or a couple of, smaller ones is fine. If they have lots of huge seeds inside them, this one doesn't. I don't know if you can see that. They're fine. That's why I like an English cucumber. You can take a spoon and scoop some of those out if you need to. You just don't want a lot of wet pulpiness in this salad. So we're just going to chop up the rest of this. And don't y'all say nothing about my knife skills. It's a pure miracle I'm even holding a knife these days, so. Okay, let me get the other side done. You're looking for maybe 3 cups or so of diced cucumber. And keep in mind, we want to be able to get this in our mouths easily, so it's a great idea to keep these pieces on the smaller side. Take off that end. Just wanted to show you, kind of give you an idea on sizes. All right, and so we'll leave those to the side. And then I went ahead and diced up a red onion. So we've got about a third to a half of a cup. If you don't like onion, you could certainly substitute a shallot in here. It's a little bit of a more mild flavor. You could do green onions, which is what I used to do before I kind of came over to the side of enjoying my onions a little more. Okay. And then 3/4 of a cup of feta cheese and a few Kalamata olives. So if you don't like olives, you can absolutely leave those out. Completely fine. So I'm gonna give this a little toss. And we've got quite a bit of salt in here with the feta and with the olives. So when we go to season this, just keep that in mind, and we wanna make sure we don't put too much salt in there. Now, next we need some tomatoes, and I'm gonna show you my trick for this. So I've got a few ready to go over here, but if you have to slice a lot of cherry tomatoes, and before tomatoes come in season, the big ones are just, they don't have any flavor. If you want to use a large tomato, I would especially recommend giving it a squeeze and getting out some of that pulp and those seeds so you don't have a lot of liquid left behind like I was talking about. But little bitty tomatoes, how do we slice all these? Do you want to stand here and cut them all in half? Probably not. So here's a trick. On a plate, put out as many as your plate will hold, and take a lid or another plate, whatever you have, and put it on top. Put your hand on there and keep it firmly in place, and take a really good serrated knife and go between those pieces, between the plate and the lid, and just gently saw. You kind of have to hang on to everything. Go all the way to the end, and ta-da! You have an entire plate of perfectly sliced little tomatoes. It's like genius. So we have those. You can put in as many tomatoes as you want. I am a tomato lover. I have no problem with that. So 3/4 of a cup or so is what I'm going to put in. Give those a toss. Get everybody together. This salad is really better if it has some time to sit. So make it a few hours if you can in advance, not more than 24 hours so things don't get too wet on you, but somewhere in that range. And then oregano. Now this is fresh oregano from my garden. I don't expect everybody to have that on hand. You can certainly get it in your produce department, especially this time of year. But if you don't want to do that, dried oregano will work just fine. I think about a half a teaspoon of dried is plenty. Obviously, when you're working with fresh herbs, you do about twice as much than you would of a dried version. So I'm just going to give these a chop, but I'm not really worried about getting them super fine, because the acids in this salad are going to break down these leaves, and they're going to just kind of disappear in there and just add flavor. The last thing we have to do is just dress this, and it's very, very simple. So I've got the juice. I'm going to juice about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice into this. If you don't have one of these lemon juicers, they are so handy. There's no sense in wasting. So in this case, depending on your lemon, it's about the juice of 1 whole small lemon. So we'll get that in. Then we're going to go in with some olive oil. I highly, highly recommend that you use a good brand. Let me see if I can get this in focus for you. This is California Olive Ranch. It is a really nice pure olive oil, and that's one that I use regularly for good flavor. So invest in a good olive oil. And about 1/4 of a cup, I'm not measuring this. I'm not wasting another measuring spoon for that. So toss that in, and then a little bit of salt and pepper. Now, like I said, we've got olives in here, and we've got feta in here. It's not gonna need a lot of salt, but just a little bit kind of lifts the cucumber some. And keep in mind, if you're gonna make this in advance, you might wanna hold off on putting the salt in until it's closer to serving time so that you don't draw all the liquid out of your vegetables too quick. And then a couple of grinds of black pepper. And this is all done. So I'm gonna cover this in plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for 3 to 4 hours. It's great. It completely transforms in flavor. So don't give up on it. If you think the flavor's not bold enough, it will be in a couple of hours. Just let it sit and meld and it will be amazing. You can check out more side dish recipes right here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.